Today I'm going to be sharing a book review. I'm going to be reviewing the book Tinkerbell and an Enchanter's Tale. This is the second book in the Enchanter's Tale series, and basically the series is explaining how the magical creatures in these Disney movies became who they are. And I will be honest that I have done, I think this is the third book review in the last like 2 weeks or so. I will be honest, I'm actually really excited about that because I feel like I am really like getting out of the reading slump that I've been in for quite a while now. And when I'm able to breeze through books like I've been doing recently with the last two reads, I should say, it actually just feels really good for me because I really enjoy when I'm able to breeze through a book. It's just such a fun thing for me. So I'm going to be completely honest here that ever since I was a little girl, I have always loved Tinkerbell. However, Captain Hook in Tinkerbell has always freaked me out. Like, I don't think I've actually ever watched Peter Pan from like start to finish. I've seen clips of it. I know like the basic storyline to it. But I don't think I've ever fully watched the whole movie because, like I said, Captain Hook always like freaked me out as a kid. So this book I'm going to be rating 5 stars. The last book review I did, I rated that book 5 stars and this one 5 stars, which I think it's so fun when you get to rate a book 5 stars because I feel like sometimes it doesn't happen that often. And yeah, now I don't exactly know what genre this book was, but I'm going to consider it a fantasy because I just figured it was a fantasy. And the quick opinion of this book section, I clicked on pure entertainment and not what I expected. So this book, the reason why I wanted to read it is I love reading the backstories to popular characters in Disney movies because it's just really fun and really interesting when you learn how they became who they are, the other version of that story that you don't typically see. And I just really like learning about that stuff. Also, that's also the reason why I like reading the Twisted Tales series because it just gives you like a different point of view to the classic Disney movie. I started this book on April 20th, 2026, and I finished it here today, April 24th, 2026. So basically, the whole summary of this book is we finally get to know why Tinkerbell and Peter Pan met, how they met, how Peter Pan and the Lost Boys got to Neverland. We learn about the Darling family. I will be completely honest, the very ending of this book, like I normally don't read, like sometimes when you get to the very end of the book, they do like how many years later, like once the story is over. I normally don't read that section of a book. However, I read it this time and oh my gosh, I was not expecting that. But it actually makes a whole lot of sense. Like I said, I have never watched Peter Pan from start to finish. I probably should because it's like one of the classic Disney movies. But this ending was not what I expected. How they the whole story to how Peter Pan, the Lost Boys all came to Neverland was not what I expected. I'm not going to give any spoilers away or explain how it happened because this is one of those books that I feel like if you are a person that loves Peter Pan or you just love learning the backstories to characters, you have to read this book in order to figure it out. Like, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but you need to read this book if you have always questioned how Peter Pan got to Neverland, how Lost Boys got there, how the Darling family came, all of that type of stuff. I would recommend reading this book because it gives you very detailed information on how, and the book was less than 300 pages, which I think is even better because it sums it up so quickly, especially if you like reading like shorter books, if that makes sense. And yeah, so far, like I said, this is the second book in the Enchanter's Tale series, and I am really liking this series so far. I think I gave the Fairy Godmother book 5 out of 5 stars. That one actually made me cry. This book, 5 out of 5 stars easily. I have no idea what the third book in this series is going to be. I really hope that this author does books for all of those magical creatures because that's going to be so fun. Like I said, I don't know what the third book is, but I'm excited to see when the third book comes out because I'm just excited to see who she writes about next. But like I said, if you are a fan of Peter Pan, if you are a fan of like Tinkerbell before Pixie, like before she came with like all Pixie Hollow and all those fairy friends of hers, I would recommend reading this because it really shows a lot of detail on that, and it's actually really interesting. And you also get a little bit of backstory behind how Captain Hook became Captain Hook. But definitely 100% recommend. There is absolutely no spice in this book series, which I absolutely love. Every now and then there's a swear word, but it's not anything major. I breezed through this book in like 4 days. I really, really liked it. I probably could have finished it sooner, but you know, I run another YouTube channel, so I'm always busy with that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this book.